Okay, close enough. There we go. All right, let's call to order the Spring Valley Community Infrastructure District Meeting number 1 on May 5th, 2022. I can have a roll call, please.
Bond.
Present.
Here.
Russell. Here.
All right, we'll stand. Okay, it's time for Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we go to item number 4, approval of minutes for March 30th, 2022.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve item 4, approval of minutes, action item for March 30th, 2022.
Motion by Ginnelsberger. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Helen. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against, nay. Ayes have it. Item number 5, additions, deletions, or modifications to the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda? No, none there. Item number 6, approval of claims for March 2022. Do I hear discussion or motion? No discussion? Okay, discussion again. Relative to, again, it's more of the administrative thing again. And this, I think Brooke's on there, and I can talk to Brooke as if, you know, if the applicant is okay with it. I think we're more, I'm going to bring up the administrative stuff. Is there any way to get like a secretary or administrative assistant? I know Ken likes driving around the city, but I think we've got $400 and some odd associated with delivering mail and making copies. And I know it's not my money, but it's just, it's the fiscal conservative in me that this, because I mean, over a year, we're talking, you know, $5,000 to $6,000. So again, if that's how you guys have it set up, that's how it's set up. And as long as the applicant, there's no issue with it, we'll bring it up every once in a while to make a note.
Pam and I can discuss that and see how we can.
Okay.
So Chairman Bond, we'll discuss it, yeah, and see if we can't come up with a solution.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. So with that, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion for approval of claims March 2022.
No, motion made. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second made. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those against? Actually, I take it back. Do I need to do a roll call on that one? Because it's,
Do we need to specify the dollar amount?
yeah. Okay. Sharice, do we need to do that? Because we didn't, I know we've identified we don't have to say the amount, but it is for approval of funds. So should we do a roll call now?
You don't have to, but it's never a bad idea to do a roll.
It depends.
It depends, yeah. We just went through a full legal brief for all of it. So now we're hyper diligent for all legal stuff. So Doug said it's okay, so I think we'll move out of it's good to go. With that, we'll open new business, action item 7A. And it sounds like this is a presentation as opposed to we didn't have this in our packet.
I believe you had a maybe did not have an award in the packet. Last month, the developer bid, put out for public bid, the grading, and this is the grading related to the public infrastructure, not the mass grading on the site, but the public infrastructure. That process was overseen by our district engineer and approved by the district engineer on April 27th. We had the public bid opening, and let me get that. And there was one bidder, and that bidder was Western Construction, for a combined bid of $14,448,427.89. The Alliance Consulting sent the bid proposal and the letter of review over to Casey Ketterling. He reviewed that, signed off on it and sent it over to us. There is a breakdown of costs associated with that $14 million. And what we're seeking is approval for the notice of award and the contract. And one of the things that we'd like to discuss with the board is a procedure that you all would be comfortable with that would allow Casey or me, or Casey and me and Sharice, once you have approved an award, to execute the documents on your behalf if they are not available at the time of the meeting, so that we're not having to chase you all down and spend money and waste your time in between meetings. So we would like to discuss that at the same time. And I'll let James, talk a little bit more about the grading. He was more involved in the review of the bids.
My name is Lee Howell here, and it's for Casey instead of Casey Ketterling.
And you say it, Lee?
Lee Howell.
Okay, we need your name and address and everything.
Lee Howell, 14, let's see, what's my new address up in the office? 332 North Elmore Way, Ida. So we did review as a district engineer reviewed it, and we do recommend it. The bid did look complete, although there was one was complete and responsive. One of the things that I think talked with Casey about is that to have the district engineer or an engineer in general sign off on the notice to proceed, that's pretty non-conventional. We haven't done that before. The board decides that's the way to move. We're willing to do that, but it is non-conventional for an engineer to sign off as the owner for a notice to proceed. Just wanted to put those 2 cents in there.
Sheree, what's your, relative to that, basically just, we have a duly designated representative that would be probably either you or Pam, is that the intent?
Sorry, I'm trying to, it's really, really tiny font. And I apologize. I was planning to be there today, but I have to be at a 6:30 or whenever I can. Okay, thank you. Okay. Yeah, I've worked with the staff. I don't have any heartburn about this. Mr. Chair, what exactly was your question? I want to make sure to answer it.
And Pam, you can correct me if I'm wrong, is basically if we have, basically in order to get timely responses, since we only meet once a month, if somebody basically can represent, if we identify in a meeting, say, yes, we agree with these, it goes through, and then Pam or another representative could actually sign for those on our behalf.
Yes. Yeah. And we've talked about this quite a bit. We're going to come up with a game plan. Casey, myself, and Pam have been chatting. Yes. Is that a lot of these documents, just for the board's knowledge, if they don't already know, sorry if I'm redundant, is that a lot of these documents are pre-prepared, already accepted documents under the EJCDC engineering documents. So they've been pre-approved and completely accepted in the industry. So I think what Pam and I specifically, as well as Casey, is going to work towards is coming up with some sort of policy or something that it's like prepaying your power bill, if that makes any sense. Once you guys have accepted the project and everything else, this is kind of going through the motions, and we want Charlie or whomever to be able to just sign off without us constantly having to present them to you guys. So we've actually had quite a few conversations in the last couple of days. We haven't gotten there yet, but I know Pam and I, it's a high priority of these aren't new things that aren't normally accepted in this industry. What we're going to try to do is provide a policy or something that allows Charlie or whatever to be able to sign off on them with an already approval. And the approval is already pre-approved, if that makes sense. Like, you guys already approved the project, but there's all these subsequent documents. So we're going to work on that. I know Pam and I, at least for me, is a priority to get something to you guys by the next meeting.
Right. And I want to.
That makes sense. Does that make you guys comfortable? I mean, I don't want you guys to be uncomfortable. If you want every contract to go through, but I think you're going to start getting annoyed. And they're just, that's my spot. Pam, sorry, I interrupted you.
No problem. I just wanted to add, you're still going to be ultimately approving the bid award. So you still have to, see this documentation, review it, know that we've gone through the checks and balances before it ever comes to you. But in terms of signing the notices of award and in terms of signing the contracts themselves, the contracts have been attached in most cases to the bid documents. So those have been approved by Casey before we ever bid the project. But in this case, and we'll discuss this a little later in the meeting, we don't have a strong need to have another meeting at the end of this month if we have approval from you all that either me, Sharice, Casey, or, one of you can be available to execute these contracts. And they're not always drafted in electronic form. So sometimes somebody has to physically execute. And right now, it's kind of a fire drill. We find out that we've got, a short period of time to execute. So I have to run around and try and find someone to do that. And it's not workable in the long term. So if we can get approval to execute the grading contract and the notices of award and any subsequent documents that may need to be executed, then we can potentially cancel the meeting at the end of this month and not bother everybody.
Pam, this is James with Alliance Consulting. Could I make a recommendation relative to the projects that we have outstanding?
Certainly.
Mr. Chairman, and I think that, as Pam has described, we do have some contracts that are outstanding that the district has already approved, but just not executed. And maybe if in this motion, in the motion to accept either, these bids or contracts, if the board could just include an authorization for the district manager to execute the relevant contract documents, when you approve it, I think that would be sufficient in our mind with what we would need to get the contract document signed. And that would include the notice of award, the notice to proceed, and the contract itself, if we just specified the contract documents, because that's all included in the bid package itself. So those have already been pre-vetted. And if we just attach that to whatever motion the board would like to make, then it seems like that would get us to the position where Pam could sign those and we could move those ones forward.
Well, and Mr. Chair, if I could add, maybe this is pre or should have been after the motion, is right now, I can certainly certify in my current practice, working with a lot of these types of contracts, is that the prices of labor, supplies, everything are going all over the place. And so in the future, like I said, for today, I agree with Mr. Hammond, but I think I would like to at least explore something with Pam, maybe in the next meeting or two, about setting up some sort of policy, because the supplies and demand are. I just had a contractor that did a contract and then came back for 250% more than the original contract because it took them a month to get it approved. And so it's a food for thought. I mean, for this evening, Mr. Hammond's absolutely correct. And I think it's fine for you guys to proceed, but we may be trying, we may come up with you guys to have some sort of expedited way to do this, because it's nuts right now. And to protect the district's finances is to be able to allow the chair to move on some of this stuff, so long as it was already approved. Like I said, this is more checking boxes. Like, we'd never request that you just approve something you hadn't already approved, but more of a procedural efficiency, if that makes sense. So thank you.
You guys have any questions or comments or anything on the proposed process?
No.
Pam, quick question for you, because I was trying to look for it. So the one we have up here, this is what I was talking about, you kind of, this is the award bid. Yeah, none of us have that in our packet, just FYI.
Okay.
I didn't have it online either. No, because I have all the, okay.
It wasn't in the packet.
Looking at that right now.
Okay. So, Cherie, are we still okay? I mean, we've done that. Are we still okay to make a motion on this, even though it wasn't technically in the packet, but?
Well, the award bid is consistent with, like Mr. Hammond said, the bid documents. But if you guys are uncomfortable, we can definitely take another one of your evenings away and do a special meeting for you to review it. I don't mean to make that as a threat. It's a tiny bit, but no, I mean, it is part of, it's consistent with the bid document. But I don't want you guys to award anything you're not comfortable with. We can certainly supply that. I didn't realize it wasn't in the document.
And my apologies, I put the wastewater treatment plant procurement in there, which was the prior award, rather than the grading project.
So we'll give
I don't know how
Pam
to help.
3 lashings. She at least 3 lashings. No, it's up to you guys. The thing is it is consistent with the bid documents. But again, it's up to you guys. If you want to, we can push this a bit and get it rewarded. I know it's somewhat time sensitive, but you guys are the decision makers and we respect that.
Any issues with that? Sounds like no. Any issues? No. I don't think anybody has an issue with the timeframe we're moving these forward. I guess the only question I have on that one is if we're going to do the award bids, do you still want to keep them separate under new business under, because we have the award bids for grading under A, and we have the wastewater treatment under B. If we were to just identify that yes, that we are in support or approving the award bid packets, would that cover all of these, or do we still need to separate them?
You've already approved the award for the wastewater treatment plant. The second item is actually just to make sure that we covered all the bases, and I think we did, but the language wasn't quite as broad last month or at the last meeting. And so we put that in there just to make sure that it was clear that Chairman, that you had the authority to execute all the contracts and any ancillary documents. So that was just sort of an extra to make sure we covered all the bases. We tried to be broader in new business action item A so that we didn't have to come back and do that again.
Okay, then I guess with that one, I can see if we have a motion for action or new business item or action item 7A.
Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve action item 7A, award of bid and contract for the Spring Valley Phase 1 grading in the amount of.
Can you roll out the 14? We have to roll down that since we don't have it.
Should be in there.
Thank you.
The amount of $14,448,427.89 to Western Construction Incorporated.
Motion by Russell, do we hear a second?
Second.
Second, any discussion? Before we call, so Pam, on this one, we're going to do this one. This is the only one we need to do right now, or are we okay saying additional packets we're good? Because we got the wastewater we don't need to do, correct? Because we've already done it.
Right. What we need on this is the broader one. So on this one, we needed you to approve the award of the bid and also authorize me or you or someone to go ahead and execute all of the documents necessary to get under contract, and that would be the notices of award, the contracts, and any ancillary documents.
So, and if Mr. Chair, would you mind if I jumped in for a quick second?
Perfect.
Thank you, Charlie. So what's being requested right now is you guys have already authorized all of this, and now it's just checking boxes, and pursuant to that requires the notice of award that all of them need, and then a notice to proceed once we get through the contracts. And so it's nothing new or exciting. It's paperwork. And that's basically what we're asking is, are you guys okay with it? You've already okayed the package. So are you guys okay with us, internally working with you, Charlie, to sign the documents? Is kind of the request. And Pam, if you have anything to add, please do so.
No, we were trying to get that, so basically we can amend the motion to make sure that we include that, so.
Well, this is one specific one, but we're just saying, yes. Sorry, I just wanted to give kind of a broad perspective of this is just paperwork.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything outside of what's already been authorized.
Okay, so we've got the motion, and I believe we're going to make an amendment to the motion.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question prior to that.
Question.
Did you want the motion to authorize Pamela Gibbs or yourself?
I would probably say Pam. She'll have the most flexibility, she'll have the most flexibility, and she'll have a much better idea of most of the stuff too.
Okay, great. Mr. Chairman, then I'll go ahead and amend my motion to include authorization for Pamela Gibbs to approve and execute any other contract documents relating to this phase 1 grading contract.
Motion was amended. Second concur. Second concur. Any discussion? That one, roll call.
On.
Aye.
Berger.
Aye.
Russell.
Aye.
All in favor, motion carries.
With that one, action item 7B shouldn't be there, correct? We've already approved that one.
This is just the authorization for me or you to execute the wastewater treatment plant contract. You've already executed, you've already awarded the bid, we've already signed the notice of award, but just to make sure that someone is authorized to sign the contract.
Okay. Do we need to do the same thing with this one as we do with the last one to allow you to do
Yeah, you're hearing an echo of what we're trying to do is we'll get it figured out. But yes, this is Mother May I, even though you guys have already approved this equipment purchase.
Okay, with that one, here a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion to approve new business item 7B, action item, the execution of the contract for the WWTP equipment pre-purchase by Pamela Gibbs or Charlie Bond, and also for any future approved executed contracts for this item.
Okay, motion made. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call. Actually, this is we go. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against? Nay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. Action item 7C. This is another, just a general letter.
Yeah.
So
basically
I can jump on this one, Pam, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Okay, so this action item was a concern the city had. So in our correspondence with the city, and then Pam, I invite you to add anything to this. The city was requesting a deposit, if you will, for assurances regarding this matter, which I will say this was the first in their time, and they admitted that. That they were concerned due to the kind of the unique nature of how this development is proceeding, in that initially there is some risk associated with how they're going to proceed with the initial construction. sorry, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be looking away. I'm also looking at the agenda on my other screen. And we worked with the city. We have vetted the city staff, the flood administrator, city planners, and everything to assure that the district is setting aside or making sure that the finances would be available if anything were to occur. And as of today, as I understand it, via emails I have and Pam has as well, is that they're fine with our assurance letter. So it's more of just being okay with you guys agreeing to go forward on this matter. And Pam, please add anything you'd like to.
No, I think that's true. I think the city was looking, and the development agreement requires a guarantee or a performance bond. And the issue was that because the developer is not under contract, that it's the district that's under contract, the developer was not able to provide a performance bond or a letter of credit. And so the city requested that the district provide that. The development agreement is broad enough that it allows the district to provide a substitute at the district's discretion for a letter of credit. And this letter was something that we bargained with them and negotiated, and they were comfortable with that. So, Sharice and I put this together. It has been approved by the city, and essentially it limits our exposure to the dollar amount in the construction fund and to only those improvements which have been authorized by the bond documents for grading.
Okay, do you guys have any questions on this one? Okay. All right, do you hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve action item under new business 7C, a motion to approve a letter from the district to the city of Eagle agreeing to use funds on deposit in the construction funds of Zion Bank Corporation to complete the grading improvements in accordance with the past grading permit, and authorizing the chairman and or district clerk to sign and deliver the letter to the city of Eagle.
Okay, motion made by Russell. Do you hear a second?
Second.
Second by Gillisberger. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Against? Okay. Ayes have it. Motion carries. It's new business. Now, reports. Board reports. I think there's no board reports. District manager report.
The only two items that I have to really bring up, again, I don't think we need another meeting this month. If you all are comfortable with us canceling that, I've spoken with the developer. They don't have anything else on that would need as an agenda item. So I leave that to you. If you're comfortable, I'll cancel.
Anybody have any issues with that?
No.
I don't think there's any issues with canceling the meeting.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. It'll save everybody some money because Sharice and I won't be working so hard. The second item is the district quarterly report. I've left that for you, Chairman Bond, to sign. This is a report that we have to fill out each quarter. I don't believe it's anything that we need the board to authorize. It was authorized under a sort of a larger heading when we put the bond deal together, and you authorized the board to sign the bond documents and ancillary documents. There are not many updates to this document from the one that you signed a couple of last month. We're signing this one early because we're canceling the meeting at the end of the month, and that allows us to go ahead and move forward with this. The only change I'll point out, and you have these documents in your packet, in section 2, fund balances and transfers, we took money that was on deposit in the cost of issuance fund. It was about $9,200. The cost of issuance fund is the fund that's set aside so that the lawyers and the underwriters and everyone gets paid at closing for their cost to put the deal together. There was excess money in that account. After 90 days after closing, if there remain excess money in that account, then it is to be transferred into the construction fund. So we took that 9,200 and we added that to the construction fund. So you'll see an increase in the dollar amount in the construction fund, which is a good thing. So that's really the only change in that document, significant change in that document from the last time around.
All right. Any questions for district manager? Okay. Will district engineer report.
Mr. Chairman, nothing new at this time. If you guys have any questions, I can field those, but nothing new.
Any questions for the engineer? Quick question for you relative to the wastewater treatment facility. I know we're going to have a externals, the storage tank, the treatment center itself, and then you guys have external ponds, correct? This will not be like an MBR internal?
Not at this, my understanding is not at this time. The MBR and all that will come at a later stage.
Oh, okay, so they're...
And James can correct me if I'm wrong, but at this point, I believe it's all
open lagoon. Okay. James, what's kind of the time frame? And right now we have the open lagoon system with the MBR. Is there any proposal for an enclosed MBR plant or anything like that?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is James Hammond. There is a phase approach to the treatment plant. The open treatment or the open lagoon treatment is anticipated for the first pump, which is approximately 2,200 units. And the development would start the process of the mechanical treatment plant prior to approval of units beyond 2,200 or the capacity. And so we'd anticipate getting that started as part of the next phase.
Okay, just wanted, and that would potentially be an internal one without open lagoons?
Yes, that's correct. It would be mechanical MBR treatment.
Right, perfect. That was just basically some questions to the time we wanted to get a better answer on that, so I appreciate it. Any other questions for engineering? No other questions? Okay, district attorney.
No, I don't have anything to add. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me. But no, I think Pam and I covered everything that I worked on.
Okay, any questions for Truth? All right, and there, so financial reports, which I think we've kind of already went through most everything, but Pam?
We just talked about the balances in the fund for the bond revenues. The other document that you have is the statement of revenues, expenditures, and ending cash balance in the general fund. That's the fund that we've set up to make sure that the district is functioning. At the end of the period, we had just over $19,000. It's actually increased because, of course, the developer has sent us a check. It's just not reflected as of the time that this document was put together. So I believe we're back up to 30,000.
Okay. Any other questions for Pam on financial? Okay, those are reports. I'm actually forward to this. Actually, a quick question relative to the Spring Valley Community Infrastructure District #1 letter to the city. We signed that one. That one's going to be, I think we talked about that, Candace, as you mentioned, that the notary process, whereas we can do the signature. Is that this one? Is this the only one that requires a notary, but there's no signature block for me?
My understanding, and Trace correct me, is that you agreed that you will notarize those.
Yes. So, yeah, I thank you for asking that, Mr. Chair. I am a personal notary, as well as many people in my office. I have to jump on to another meeting momentarily, so I couldn't physically be there. But what I will do, if it works for you, Mr. Chair, leave the document wherever you're comfortable with leaving, and I will get there tomorrow morning. And I will notarize it, or someone in my office will notarize your signature. Everything's on the record as we're all being video recorded. So I'm not concerned about that. We will take care of the notary, I guess, is my point.
And Chairman
Okay,
Bond,
no, that
your
works.
signature will just go between regards and Charlie Bond.
Okay, I kind of figured, but I just want to make sure.
I mean, Charlie, I could demand your driver's license and your blood type and your first child, but I won't. I will trust you that that signature is an accurate signature, and I will notarize it and make sure it gets recorded properly.
All right, appreciate it.
We watched them.
Yep, everybody watch me.
All right, I want
My first
blood
child.
thumbprints on the whole thing to make sure. No, I'm just kidding. But we'll get it taken care of. I'll swing by first thing in the morning and grab it.
All right, perfect. All right, and then I'll leave with Kent and he'll sign it, and I think we're good on that. With that one, we move to public comment. Really in here to, do I have to read the thing if there's nobody here, just to make sure, do we have anybody online?
I think so.
Teresa, do I get in trouble if I don't read the public comment notice?
No, you're fine.
Yeah,
You guys don't even actually have to have public comment, to be honest, but it's good
Right.
that you do.
Did we actually? Nope, we just learned that. So, okay, I'm gonna skip that whole thing, and with that one, I'll go to item number 10. Air motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Air motion to adjourn. Air second.
Second.
Motion seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion made. We're adjourned. Thanks.
All right.
guys.
Nice to talk to you all.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.